I want to talk about the voice inside your head right now. Not the voice you use when you talk to your friends or post online. I'm talking about the quiet voice that speaks to you when you're lying in bed in the dark. The voice that says, "I'm not good enough at this. I always mess things up. What if everyone laughs at me?" You probably think that voice is you. It isn't. That voice is just an old habit. It's an old script you've been replaying for years without even realizing it. And here is the biggest mistake most of us make. When we want to change our lives, we make a big, loud announcement. We tell our friends, "I'm going to change starting tomorrow. I'm going to work out every day, eat healthy, study hard, and fix everything." And what happens? For 2 minutes, you feel great. You feel proud because your friends say, "That's awesome. Good for you." And then 3 days later, you stop. You're back on your couch doing the exact same things you've always done. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius talked about this thousands of years ago. When you tell everyone your big plans, your brain feels like it already finished the job. You get the applause before doing the work, so you lose the energy to actually do it. Real change doesn't happen with a loud announcement. Real change is quiet. It happens in the dark when nobody's watching. It is the art of silent refinement, quietly changing the way you talk to yourself every single day until you become a completely different person. Before you can change your thoughts, you have to actually hear them. Most of us live our whole lives on autopilot. We react to everything the exact same way we did when we were little kids. Think about the thoughts that repeat in your head like a broken song. When you make a mistake, what's the first thing you tell yourself? Is it, "Okay, how do I fix this?" Or is it, "I'm so stupid"? When someone criticizes you, do you get angry and defensive immediately? These negative thoughts are like old echoes in an empty room. They belong to a past version of you. Maybe a bully said something to you 3 years ago. Maybe a teacher made you feel dumb. Maybe you failed once and decided, "I guess I'm just a failure." And now, years later, you are still carrying that old story around like a heavy rock in your pocket. Holding on to an old, negative story about yourself is exhausting. It drains your battery before the day even starts. It makes you feel tired, irritable, and scared to try anything new because that old voice keeps whispering, "Remember what happened last time?" To stop this, you have to become an observer of your own mind. Stoics call this self-awareness. Whenever you feel sudden anger, fear, or laziness today, just pause for 2 seconds and ask yourself, what thought just crossed my mind? Is that thought actually true, or is it just an old echo? The moment you catch the thought, it loses its power over you. Most people think changing your life takes massive, painful willpower. They think you have to fight yourself every day. Willpower is like a phone battery. It runs out fast. The Stoics had a better way. They said, you cannot control what happens around you, but you have 100% control over how you choose to look at it. You don't need willpower to change. You just need to edit your self-talk in simple, small moments. Let's look at how this works in real life. Imagine someone is rude to you or cancels plans at the last minute. The old story, "They don't respect me. My day is ruined." The new Stoic story, "That's about them, not me. I can't control their actions, but I can control my reaction." Notice the difference? You didn't yell. You didn't get depressed. You just changed the translation. Look at the words you use in your own head every day. Tiny word changes can completely flip your mind. Instead of saying, "I am an anxious person," say, "I feel anxious right now, but it will pass." Instead of saying, "I'm terrible at this," say, "I'm still learning how to do this." Instead of saying, "I have to do this boring task," say, "I choose to do this because it helps me grow." When you change your words, you change your world. You stop fighting yourself and start guiding yourself like a good friend would. Here is what happens when you start doing this quiet mental work. Nothing happens at first, and that's the hardest part. We live in a world where everyone wants quick results. We want instant likes, fast growth, and quick fixes. But building your character is like planting a tree. If you plant a seed today, you won't see a giant oak tree tomorrow morning. You won't even see a sprout. But under the dirt, out of sight, the roots are growing deep into the ground. If you change one thought today, your life won't look totally different by Friday. But if you quietly edit your inner voice every single day for 6 months, the result will blow your mind. You'll wake up one day and realize you don't get scared like you used to. You don't get angry over small things anymore. You don't care about drama. You are centered. And why is it so important to keep this work quiet? Because the moment you start bragging to people, "Look how calm I am. Look how much I've changed," your ego takes over. You start doing it for applause instead of doing it for yourself. The ego wants noise. Real growth requires silence. Keep your work private and let your calm energy speak for itself. If you practice this every day, a moment will come where your inner work finally shows up on the outside. Something bad will happen, something that used to make you scream, cry, or give up. And instead of panicking, you will just stand there, calm and solid like a rock in a storm. You will handle it with peace. Afterward, you'll look back and think, "Who was that? The old me would have lost my mind." That is the day you become unrecognizable. People who haven't seen you in a while will sense that something about you is different. You walk differently, you speak calmly, you don't get pulled into foolish arguments. They'll think you bought new clothes or got lucky. But you know the secret truth. You didn't change your clothes. You changed your inner story. This isn't a 30-day challenge. It's a way of living. It's taking care of your mind every morning, pulling out the weeds of negative self-talk and replacing them with truth, strength, and patience. Stop telling the world who you are going to be. Go back to the quiet room of your mind. Listen to the voice. Edit the script. Do the work in silence, and let your peace be your proof.